What's up, everybody? Welcome to Metal Remains Backstage. This is Manuel from Madrid. We have Carlos in New York, and joining us all the way from the United Kingdom, we have Adrienne Cowan from Seven Spires. Hi, Adrienne.
Hello. I'm doing great. How are you?
Oh, we're fine. Happy to have you in our channel, in our backstage set. You can grab a bottle of water if you want in the back.
Thank you. I got
you got it already.
Actually.
Okay, good.
Oh, yeah,
great.
Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you for making time for us today. We would like to start the conversation by asking you, what have you been listening to lately?
Oh, good question. This morning, I woke up totally stuck on Stone Wings from Swallow of the Sun. Let me actually check my Spotify.
Yeah,
it's been a great variety of stuff. To be completely honest, most of what I've been listening to has been things for the summer repertoire. So Advantageous Setlist, Sonic Symphony, Seven Spires stuff, Masters of Ceremony, Heaven's Gate.
Work stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But there's this great covers album called Ghibli Piano Dreams. And it's just Studio Ghibli themes played beautifully on piano. And that brings a lot of comfort and home feelings in a time where I'm just traveling all the time.
Okay, yeah.
Not very metal, but
No, don't worry. It's fine.
It doesn't
we
matter.
all need
It's music. It's
we
art.
all need refreshes from time to time.
Right. Now, A Fortress Called Home is Seven Spires' fourth album, set to be released on June 21st. We have listened to it, and what an album. It is massive, diverse, with so many layers. How do you, Jack Costo and Peter De Reina, develop all these ideas, give them form, and bring them to life?
With great care and attention, I would say. Yeah, but to be honest, I mean, as we have always done, our albums come from big feelings and experiences and storytelling and love for lore and mythology and everything. So I guess there's a feeling that needs to be said, and we find the right way. Sometimes I have some lyrics, sometimes I have a melody, sometimes it's Jack has like a sick riff, and I think I know what would go perfectly with that. And Pete keeps us in line.
Okay, very organic.
Nice. What comes first, the music and then the lyrics, or the lyrics first and then the music, or it's like a combination?
It really can be any kind of combination. Sometimes I come to the guys with like a piano and vocal demo with like sort of the harmony, lyrics, chord changes, everything is there. Sometimes I come to them with almost a complete production, at least in demo form. And sometimes Jack and I sit there like, let's start with this. Sometimes we're building completely from the ground up, and sometimes he brings me stuff, sometimes I bring them stuff. Yeah.
All right. If you had the opportunity to have one of these songs be heard by every metalhead in the world, which one would it be?
Oh, wow, that's a tough question. Maybe The Old Hurt of Being Left Behind. And I would say that not because I think it's necessarily like the best song, but I think that it contains elements that most metalheads would vibe with. And if they find something there that they would like, then maybe they would be interested in it. But if I say like Emerald Necklace, for example, there's probably like a bunch of metalheads that are going to be like, this is slow and dumb. I don't like it. So
There's one.
I don't know.
There's one I'd like to bring
wrong.
up, which is the one standout song for me, Love's Souvenir. It starts very mellow, but then it hits you with a punch, and it's like a load truck that came right in your face without you noticing.
I like Leprous as much as I like Flesh God Apocalypse, and I feel like maybe both are present there, and we just find what makes sense. There's no like secret ingredient. I mean, maybe it's like you put an orchestral like cymbal and timpani swell here, but there's no secret ingredient of like, here's the recipe on how to go from the jazziest thing that we've done to one of the most extreme sections we've done. It's also how big feelings can go sometimes. You have something, and then under the surface, once you like really dive deep down, you find all the pain and the chaos. And it's like that.
It's gonna be a powerful one live.
It's gonna be a tough one live.
Yeah, and it sounds great. It caught you by surprise because it's so different from the rest. And it is a pleasant surprise to hear Alessandro Conti collaborating on this album. What can you tell us about his contribution?
Okay, so I've been a fan of Ale since I heard Ascending to Infinity in in like 2012 maybe. I was in high school and I was still like finding my way around the metal world and still learning how to sing in the style and that particular style anyway. And like 11 years later, we went on tour with Twilight Force last year. So I got to spend every evening watching him kick ass, never having a bad night singing, and then just chatting and like having some drinks. And it was amazing. And I was also at a point in my life where I was finally ready to just stop being afraid of showing myself and just be a bit more open. And he was one of the first like friends that I really opened to and found like a beautiful connection with. So between that and the fact that I just think his voice is perfect for this super theatrical, super bombastic song, that's why he's there. And I'm so happy that he agreed to do it. And I think he did a beautiful job. And man, I mean, the high notes that he brought and the character and the storytelling that I couldn't be more thankful. He did a great job.
Yeah, we love him. We have interacted with him a couple of times, and we can tell he has a heart and a soul, and he's so humble, and we admire him so much. So that's a great surprise in the album. Now, considering the increasing cost of touring and living nowadays, what can we expect as far as touring plans with Seven Spires for the future?
Well, I can tell you what's set in stone for sure. We have the festival in the US, Mile High Power Fest, which Seven Spires will headline.
That's in Colorado, right?
Correct, yeah. And then in December, we will co-headline a tour in Japan, which we're super excited about. It's a special type of thing where we bring a number of our fans with us, and so we do some sightseeing during the day, and then we also have like the show at the night. In the evening. Wow, my English is just going away. But so that's like a special type of tour. But in terms of like standard metal bands on tour, yes, you're right. The cost of living and the cost of touring, everything's getting more expensive. But we will always do everything we can to get out there on the road. And we're working on plans for next year. Things take time. But we want to, so we will.
Is there any hope for fans in Madrid to catch your show over here?
Currently, there aren't any plans, but I know that we would be super happy to go there and play for you guys. So I just think it's a matter of time, basically.
Right. We will be waiting patiently.
Excellent.
Now, talking about tours, you are currently on the road in Europe with Avantasia. And you also sing for Masters of Ceremony and other bands and projects. Your vocal range is insane. How do you take care of your instrument to keep it healthy?
Thank you very much. I fail at this, but I try to sleep when my body says you need to go to bed right now. It doesn't always work, and I really try to drink enough water, especially on show days. And like during the day, especially on show days, I don't really speak to people too much until after the show. I do my warm-ups and I eat my breakfast and I don't know, do some interviews or not. But mostly I think it's not dissimilar to like what an athlete would do if they had a competition that day. It's sort of a boring answer. Some people I know drink ginger tea like the whole day. Some people are singing and warming up the whole day. At this point, I think between the insane amount of flying and the poor sleep schedule that I have had since the last, I don't know, 17 years. What's most important for me is sleeping and staying hydrated and trying to eat enough protein so that I have the strength to go on stage and do what I need to do.
Yeah, that's one thing that artists who travel all over the world suffer from, moving from one time zone to the next, so they don't know what really day is, or if it's night, or what's going on.
Yeah, exactly.
That must be hard.
At catering at Sweden Rock a couple of days ago, I saw a friend from Zurich who I met last year, and he was like, "How are you? What's going on?" I'm like, "I don't even know my name right now." And I like looked to my left, and there's a trash can with the festival name on it, and I was like, "I know we're in Sweden because it says Sweden Rock there." And he's like, "Yeah, do you remember Zurich last year? We had ramen together." I'm like, I remember that, but I don't know where I was yesterday or what I ordered for dinner, which I'm now waiting for.
Yeah, it's stuff like that.
It is. It's a great life, but it was much more exhausting than I expected it would be.
Right.
And that's okay.
Now, Adrienne, we would like to wrap up this chat by asking you to share with us one of your favorite backstage stories.
One of my favorite backstage stories. Really good question. I have to think. A very nice and happy one was even just a couple of days ago. The Avantasia lineup is always changing, you know. I mean, it's changing the whole summer because some people have to go here, some people have to go play shows there. Anyway, basically what it comes down to is I sort of, even though I kind of knew it would happen, I was still very surprised and didn't expect to see Tommy Karavik from Camelot in our backstage.
Wow.
So he was joining us for Dying for an Angel. And I had just come from tour like at the end of April. Seven Spires was playing shows with Camelot. And
you did 4 shows with them.
Exactly, yeah. And Tommy Karavik is, I mean, as we all know, one of my absolute favorite singers, period. Camelot's one of my favorite bands, blah, blah, blah. Like, and we have this connection from Sasha. But it was still like, I'm holding in my fangirl, and I'm also like, just like he's a coworker. But at the same, it's like this weird mix of like, okay, Adrienne pinched me, we're not sleeping. Also, my AirPod fell out. Make sure you do a good job. And his wife, Cobra Page, was also there. Of course, when I was in high school, I went to the album release show of their first album. So I've been following her for like ever. And I was like, this is so weird. I went to your album release show, and now you're backstage at my show. And on that same night, I was in my dressing room getting ready, you know, like getting dressed, putting my hot girl disguise on, whatever. And in the background, I hear Alice Cooper playing songs that I used to cover when I was in high school, like cover bands, basically, playing in like dive bars. And I was like, what is my life right now? This is so weird. So
you're living the dream.
It was a lot of full circle. Yeah, totally. But it was a lot of like full circle moments that night. And it was a little bit overwhelming.
Full circle, yeah.
Yeah, but it was cool.
What regular people only can probably dream about, you are living that life.
Yeah, I have to remember that sometimes.
Yeah, we have a bit of that from time to time, so we can totally understand. It was a pleasure having you here. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for having me. This was great.
If you enjoyed this interview, please like and share it with your friends. Make sure to subscribe to our channel and follow Seven Spires. Buy and stream A Fortress Called Home, which is coming out on the 21st of June, which is next week. So happy release day already. And until next time, stay metal.
I want a signed copy. I don't know how I'm going to do that, but I want a signed copy.
Okay, we'll figure this out.
Yeah, we're going to figure it out. Nice to see you again. Last time we saw you was at Wacken. Very chaotic times.
2022.
In the way backstage, right? With
wasn't even the backstage.
Yeah, they were kicking us out.
we really wanted to thank you for that. It was a very stressful opportunity, but we enjoyed us as well.
You caught us by surprise.
Yeah. And
totally off guard.
And we hope we can catch up with you again in the future. because I haven't seen you perform yet. Carlos, I think he did in New York when you were with Visions of Atlantis.
No, I didn't because I was doing an interview at the time they were performing.
You were interviewing Mick, right?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I apologize.
Okay, no,
but we have become very much fans of your work, so thank you for that. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much. I really look forward to the next time.
Awesome.